गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Om Om Om. Next, in Manu Smriti, Manu talks of certain samskaras. Okay? Manu talks of certain samskaras. Just a minute, I readjust the phone. Okay. I think now it is okay. In the second chapter, we were discussing, first we discussed the Yagniya Desha. Yagniya Desha means holy place. Holy place means holy country, holy land. Not country, we can call it as a holy land. So, a land where we live continuously for a long time, doing rituals and prayers and all, the land becomes holy. The land gets purified. So that land, see, we discussed elaborately already. Okay. So you discussed the Yogya Desha, Yagniya Desha we called them, a holy land for Hindus. From the Afghanistan onwards, first stage it was a Brahmavarta. Second stage it expanded further and it is called Brahmarshi Desha. Then third is the Madhya Desha. It has included Vindhya and others. Then the fourth is Aryavarta. Fifth is entire India. Entire India was considered as a Bharata Desha, as a Yagniya Desha. Entire India is a holy land for Hindu Dharma, Vaidika Dharma. That we have discussed elaborately. So we shall proceed. Next point from the 29th shloka. 25th to 28. From 25th to 28. So this talks of 25th to 28 talks of samskara mahima. Okay. The value of, the importance of samskaras. Hindus give very, I think, high importance to this samskaras too. First is we give importance to birth. Birth decides, because many people are born with certain, many people, almost every person is born with certain tendencies. Because we see even our modern people also believe, you may call it genes, hereditary, whatever. Genes also partly, hereditary partly, and then third thing we take into consideration, one is the genes, second is the parental hereditary, and the third is the past karma of jiva. Okay, these put together, these three, genes, hereditary and past karma, these three put together decide a person's birth. Modern science also says that many things are decided by birth. Many things are decided. Decided means, doesn't mean that you have no freedom for further growth, but most of our personality is determined by past karma. And you may change that past samskaras, past karma, with a lot of effort, with a lot of sadhana, with a change of your thinking and living and actions and feelings and thoughts. If you cultivate them consistently for a long time, you can transform your personality. So that tapas is possible. That's why we always say janma and tapas. Tapas modifies your past karma, and certain karma remains. Two things are there. A certain karma remains and certain things can be modified. But it requires great tapas. Everybody is not capable. And many people don't do also. We don't find people doing so much of tapas. They may do little bit of tapas, but it is not enough to change the whole person. So there are rarely few people who do tapas, rarely. Because even that capacity to do tapas is inbuilt in a person due to his past karma. So rarely we find a few people doing great tapas that they transform in one janma totally into another person. Okay, that will come later. But here he says samskara, a person's tendencies, a person's proneness. A person is meant for a certain activity, certain line of thinking, certain level of maturity, and all this, and certain background also. Background means certain atmosphere, certain conditions he is going to live. Just as, in fact, our shloka, one well-known shloka says that runanubandha rupena pashupatni sutalaya. Karma decides what kind of wife or husband you are going to get, and children, your property, and where you are going to be born, in which family you are born. See, first, to which parents you are born is not in our hands. Our past karma decides. These people ignore it. They say it's an accident. This is not a very scientific thinking. To say that you are born accidentally. This has become so common these days that, oh, birth is an accident. Why give importance to it? No scientist, no person with a scientific thinking can ever talk so foolishly, so shamelessly like this, that a birth is an accident. If birth is an accident, then why birth alone should be accident? Let everything be accident then. Why this selectively talking of birth alone being an accident? Why birth alone is an accident? Then every event is an accident. Accident means there is no prior certain say a tendency, a certain, how to say that, a condition which brings about these things. So there is no past karma for it. Anything is just an accident. If birth is an accident, why birth alone, I am asking? It can be anything accident. Anything could be. Then everything is an accident. Then whole world is an accident. And some people are talking like this only. Even some communist and atheist talk like this also. A person is born with a very animalistic tendency, with a very asura tendency. And you call him as an accident? If a person becomes an evil and wicked person, antisocial element, he is not responsible, society. Now, those who say birth is an accident, they say a person is molded into a wicked person. Mainly when a person becomes wicked, they blame the society. Okay? If a person becomes a wicked person, they say he is not responsible individually. Society made him. So they blame society. The modern trend is like this, one-sided trend. That means a motivated talking, lopsided, one-sided talking. A person, a wicked person, seeing a wicked person, they blame the society. Society is responsible for him to become wicked. But ultimately, if they really mean society is responsible, has society consciously made him wicked? Next question comes. Has society, if society is responsible for making a person wicked, then there are many great people also, noble souls also on the earth, very great people. Then you have to give credit to the society. When a person becomes great, you call him, he is great, personally great. See how these one-sided talking people say. If there are great people, they say it is his own, he worked hard and became great. He's a great genius, or he's a great saintly person, a noble person who dedicated, sacrificed to his life to others. He brought about a change in the world. all these things when we say a great man, a noble person, then do you accept that it is the society that has made a person noble? So he is not responsible for his nobility, for his greatness. Do you say a person is not responsible for his being a great saintly man? Like in 20th century, we see very important, like Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna, Aurobindo, Vivekananda, and then certain other people. There are many, but these are all more well known to the modern people. There are traditional people also, traditional great Mahatmas also. Anyway, the list is endless list. I'm just giving one or two who are very popular among the modern people. So these people, can society take credit that we have created these such great people? If the society is not responsible, then if a person becomes wicked, then society cannot be blamed for being wicked. Okay? If you say, then take equal responsibility. Let the society be praised for producing great saintly people. Let the society be blamed for wicked people. We say society is partly responsible. We don't say a social atmosphere can affect. Social atmosphere, very persecuting social atmosphere can affect a person. But that is not a finally determining point, or that is not a completely responsible. See, I give you, there are very persecuting society, social atmosphere or family atmosphere. If there are more than one person born in a family with the same persecuting atmosphere, different people respond differently. Don't we see that? In the same persecuting atmosphere in the society, 2 or 3 people behave differently. Some people take the same persecution and take it as a challenge and feel responsible, and then they grow out of it. They don't carry revenge and become wicked villains. Some people take a small trouble and they start taking revenge against society. They start hating a society or a group of people, a certain caste or certain group of people, they start hating. Some people are well taken care of by the society, still they hate the society. See, we find 2 kinds of people. Some people are highly persecuted, still they become great saintly people. Some people were not so much persecuted, but they carry vengeance against society or a particular group of people and start hating them and writing books against them. Okay, so we can't generalize that the whole society is responsible. Similarly, birth alone is responsible. Therefore, they say birth is an accident. Just as you can't blame the society for a person's wickedness, you can't escape. So birth also gives a certain tendency, certain what you call a tendency. But later also the certain other atmosphere, family atmosphere, your own effort, your own past karma, your own effort, your samskara, all the put together, it is a collective and complex thing. It is a collective thing and complex thing. This is what our Shastra says. Okay, collective and complex. But basic, just like a seed, you see, you for example, you sow a seed in an atmosphere, in the earth. But in a soil you sow the seed will grow into a same plant. If it is a mango seed, it will go into a mango plant. It may grow little faster, little slower. All that depends upon the earth, the soil, whether it contains good manure, water, and what you call sunshine and all other things. It can take help of external things, but it grows into mango tree alone. It can't grow into any other thing. Okay, this is what our people say. Now the question is birth, okay, birth and the bringing up. Bringing up means the external influence, atmosphere, society you are brought up, the society you are brought up in, and the influence of the people around and the society. Between these two, which is most important and which is ultimate? Nowadays people say birth has no role to play. Everything depends upon bringing up and external atmosphere and society, family and all. And our people, our Shastra doesn't say that only birth alone is. Birth also partly responsible, and bringing up also is partly responsible. Okay? When we talk of birth, the modern people say, oh, you are very orthodox, very rigid, very despicable fellow. You attribute everything to birth alone. Did we say everything to attribute it to birth alone? Did we say? Does even the most maligned Manu says that everything depends on birth, therefore your present, this is called fatalism. That everything birth decides. Okay? Everything birth decides, you don't do anything. Nobody said, even Manu did not say that birth. But birth gives you certain basic thing. Like a seed is sowed, when you sow a seed, when seed is sown, put in the soil, the seed has a certain tendency. The help is taken from the external atmosphere, but it grows in its own way. Okay? And there might be very, very revolutionary changes in a person. That's why we find some people in childhood looks very ordinary man, but at a later stage changes very unbelievably, he changes totally. That also is due to karma, because karma starts functioning at certain later stage. Okay? In some people in the childhood, some people a little later stage, karma comes and it transforms a person. Just to give an example, like Vemana. Vemana was earlier very, very wicked person. Wicked in the sense, not a bad person, but he is given to certain vices, like a womanizer he was. And that has changed him. One event has changed and he became a great yogi. Like that we find many people. So, one part of mind was wrong, but still basically his samskara was great. He was but even during his younger days, he was a very honest and sincere and bold man. Honest, sincere and bold. Very sincere he was. He had some weakness, and some event happened that has changed him, because basically he was an honest person. Very honest person. Very sincere. And very good person also. He would help people, understand people, do everything else, but one weakness he had, and once he transcended that weakness, then he transformed. So a person with all goodness, with past good samskara and good life may have one or two weaknesses. So he needed this janma to grow out of those one or two weaknesses. Then the earlier karma worked, helped him well, and then he became really a great man. So like this, these are all complex things, complex factors that influence a person. Therefore, when we say in general we say person comes with certain past karma. That past karma also varies from person to person, because people come with different maturity levels. Maturity levels are different. Karma, nature of karma is different from person to person. Maturity level, spiritual maturity level is different from person to person. He comes with that. But when he is born in a situation, in a family atmosphere or even surroundings, that also partly decided by past karma. Because according to your past karma, you get into certain situation. So there again, how you respond, how you take that atmosphere, whether you grow or you yield to it, this again depends upon your own effort also. Okay, so it is all complex things. Many factors are involved. Therefore, we say birth and bringing. Therefore, the birth means, for a modern man, the birth means three things, as I told you already. One is genes. Okay, genes of an individual. Then hereditary, certain hereditary also partly genes alone, but certain hereditary samskara comes. Hereditary samskara provides certain atmosphere, parentage. And then past karma, individual karma, jiva's karma. Okay, this is this determines a birth. Therefore, birth has to be taken into consideration, though we don't say everything is birth alone, but birth has definitely an important place. You can't call birth is an accident. Like many thoughtless people claiming to be so scientific but talk very unscientific things. I'm sorry to say. They claim to be scientific but talk certain unscientific things. Because even the so-called good thinkers also get carried away by certain routine thinking. People don't accept. If you talk of birth, I tell you, they will look down upon you. You are an orthodox, you are very foolish, and they will blame you. They criticize me even now on my Facebook openly. So I answer sometimes if he's a little open-minded thinking. Sometimes if he's too thoughtless person, there is no point in arguing with a thoughtless person. Very, conditioned person, very emotional, very motivated by, brainwashed by a particular ideology. It takes a long time to argue with him, and even if you argue also, it may not help. Therefore, I just ignore such people. But those people want to learn, want to understand, little open, I can present. Nobody can convince, nor I can convince, but I can present certain other factors, other angle of looking. Probably it may help him to reevaluate his own thinking, and he may change. I just present certain facts, certain arguments I give him. I can help him. If it helps him, he may understand. Otherwise, I am nobody. I'm as an individual, nobody to transform the whole world. Am I a creator of the world to change anybody? I'm not. I'm not. So I can help, I can discuss with a person. So therefore, nowadays, people for all wickedness blame the society, which I have already told. That is also very unscientific and thoughtless. Okay? And ignoring that, totally neglecting the birth is also thoughtless. Okay, but birth has some place, definitely. And the later how he grows up in atmosphere, that's why we say good satsanga. If parents are good, it definitely influences. Mother influence is very important. Father's influence also is very important. You can see certain very great saintly people. I read a number of biographies of saintly people. You can see certain tendency in their childhood itself. How they respond, how they receive. How they respond, how they receive the atmosphere, the surroundings around. I read Ramakrishna's, Vivekananda's, and then Jiddu Krishnamurti's biographies of many people. You can see them certain tendency you find in their childhood. And it grows gradually at a later stage. Okay? So they have to mature with the help of the atmosphere. So birth is important. And the present life, purpose of the present life is first the parentage. Then the parents help them both in your food. Food is also important. Okay? The food and what you call samskaras. Samskaras means certain rituals. Samskara can mean two things. Samskara means certain ritualistic samskaras. Okay? Ritualistic samskara. The food you eat and grow, because body, nervous system, hormones and etc. Have to grow properly in a healthy way with a good food. The food your parents eat and also the food you eat in your childhood. Therefore, we always emphasize the right food. Okay, you see the yoga, Ayurveda Shastra, how it talks of. Many people were normal people in childhood. Something happened due to certain malnutrition, something that really changes your brain, hormone and nervous system effects in childhood. Therefore, the childhood food and growth in childhood, and also psychology, because child is such a tender, very impressionable age. Up to 4 or 5 years, child cannot say, but it gets impressed, it gets influenced by the parental care and love and atmosphere. Okay, so therefore that influences parental care, food, and also third one is samskara. Okay, samskaras are rituals. we generally say 16 Sodasha Samskara. Here Manu just in the beginning refers from 25th to 29. 25th to 29, no. He talks of the importance of samskara, and first 5 samskaras he talks in the next few shlokas. 29th to 35, he talks of first 5 samskaras. Jata karma, namakarana, nishkramana, annaprashana, chudakarma, 5 samskaras. Now in these shlokas we are talking of samskara mahima, the place of samskara, the influence of samskara. Vedika samskara, mantra. See, samskara means 2 things. One is the mantra. Mantra has an effect definitely that you can't ignore. There is recently I tell you a very interesting thing. There is a Bharati Jyotirdhama in Mysore. In Mysore, recently I visited Mysore for that inaugurating that some function. Along with me, other Swamis also attended there. What is that? They have opened a Jyotirdhama, means the Jantar Mantar they call it in Hindi. It is a planetarium watching the planets. For that they built up certain machines, and then it's a very huge place. They were discussing their guru, their founder's guru. Founder's guru was he was a very traditional man at the same time with a scientific outlook. And they would say, every ritual when you do Sandhya Vandanam, you do some japa, even simple thing like Achamana. Before Achamana, you test the person's mind, body and conditions. Later, after you do japa for a while, then afterwards test what is your state of mind and hormones and conditions, your nervous system. This way you find out and you will see the difference, he says. I found it's very interesting. It's very interesting. That should be studied that way. And that way, I saw the people there, the students, is a big Gurukula, a lot of Vidyarthis are there. Vidyarthis, Acharya, they were all very disciplined, very nice people, very mature people I found. Because their Guru is also such a very good person. So, our Shastras, Samskaras, everything they practice and see the difference in their life. So, with mantra, when you perform a Samskara, with a Shraddha and Bhakti, it really brings about a small change in you. Therefore, samskaras can't be ignored as mechanical. They say, oh, mantra, doing all these things is simple or they are not mechanical. Mantra carries its own power. Okay? When you repeat a mantra carries not only your individual power, it carries a centuries, thousands of years, other rishis, gurus, your parents, your grandparents, all your earlier generations, they have been repeating the mantra. So that mantra gathers certain power. And when the mantra given to you, whatever japa you do, it is not your japa alone. The mantra itself carries some power because it has been repeated by many other people, earlier generations and rishis from the time of rishis. So that power remains in the cosmos. Cosmos means in the cosmic mind of the people. In the cosmic mind, that's why you see when you give a mantra diksha, the person's guru's power, and not only gurus, even earlier generations rishis have done, all that power comes along with the mantra. When you receive and you also do some japa, that also adds to it. Means we invoke, mantra invokes the power of Devata. Okay? Every mantra invokes certain energy, certain power. Then you may ask, what is that energy? Oh, this also needs to be studied. Research has to be done. Just as we have got electric energy, magnetic energy. Okay? Earth has got a gravitational energy. What energy you call it? See, magnetic energy, our scientists have found out. You put a magnet, it has got a field, it attracts certain things, it has got certain power. Electric also has energy. But every object has certain energy. Just like Earth has got a gravitational energy, every object has certain energy. And every living being has certain energy, certain vibrations. Okay? So our science being too materialistic science, you can't say, but there are a few odd scientists. They have been looking into prana shakti also. Certain parapsychology they are studying. I think it is very rudimentary. It has to grow further. So in yogic, meditative and religious spiritual sadhanas also have to be tested in their own way. When you practice, some energy rises in you, some energy is created in you. That you have to watch. Then you have to give a new name to that energy. Nowadays, they say whatever scientists have so far discovered, like electric magnetic energy, they only look to that alone. If there is no magnetic electric energy, oh, all this is superstition, they dismiss. Why do you say superstition? Do you think science has exhausted all energies, all powers of the earth? So whatever the present science knows, so nothing new exists on the earth? See, how do they talk? As if whatever science discovered so far now, this is all the finality of the science and now nothing new exists on the earth. There are many more powers, many more energies which science is yet to discover. Okay? Do you admit this or not? If science has not discovered, you can't say all this is superstition. There are many things practically we experience in life and still science is yet to find out. Okay? Therefore, when you follow certain sadhanas, do certain rituals with mantras and all, they also generate some power, some energy. And certain phenomena, some such events have occurred in our life, but our Indian people have ignored. Scientists have ignored to study. There was a person, I tell you, he was alive and many hundreds and thousands of people have seen. He got some Garuda mantra. Garuda mantra means a mantra which can heal the snake bite. A person who has a snake bite, he could heal. He was alive and passed away some time back, and he was well known in Andhra. Some time back, long back. I think just before independence or even after independence, maybe few years. Some guru gave him mantra and he did the japa of it, Garuda mantra. And he would say that the sound have got vibrations. The sound, if the mantra is practiced for, days and years together, it generates a certain power. And that power can change your body. If somebody is bitten, if the person is nearby, you call him, he comes and he repeats that mantra in his ear. At least the sound vibrations he puts in his ear. Continuously for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, gradually the person changes. The person who is bitten by snake, he changes. In another 5 or 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, the person becomes normal. It happened. Number of people were saved. If a person, he says it is only purely sound vibrations. A particular pattern, it is developed in a particular way. These are all mystic things. If you don't believe, then you are unscientific, I tell you. Because you go by the limited science and you ignore the undiscovered science, which is the very cosmos. Cosmos itself is a field of undiscovered science. Lot of energies, lot of powers exist on the earth. Okay. So, and in those days there was only landline. And at home, he would have some government gave him landline, he would put landline. He was not a very rich man, middle class man, but they gave him some landline phone. So if anybody, anywhere is bitten by a snake, they would immediately call him. And even on a phone, he would ask them, you put the receiver in his ear and I'll chant the mantra here. And he keep on chanting few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, gradually the person changes. Even through phone, he could heal. Even through phone, he could heal. Number of people were saved. It's a very surprising thing. So, there are many more powers. So, just, I don't have to discuss all these details, but some of our people need them. So, I discussed. So, mantra has power in short. So, mantra power depends on three. One is, it is coming from the generations. The same mantra has been repeated from the generations by lakhs and by innumerable people. Innumerable our gurus and acharyas. And the Rishi himself who discovered, and he handed it to, he gave the Diksha to his next generations. they also practiced the mantra. And the guru, direct guru, if guru's practice also adds to it, and after I receive it, if I also do it, then it adds 3 levels. One is a tradition, another is guru, third is the receiver, shishya. So their sadhana of these 3 people adds to it. And then mantra, the total effect of the mantra depends upon all these 3. Okay. Therefore, with the help of the mantras, you do the samskaras to the person. It brings about certain changes in the karma of a person, in the mindset of a person. Second point, you have to, one more thing you have to take into consideration is, human being is not, why human being, even animal, any living being, why human being, let us call any living being. Living being is not body alone. Okay? Living being is not body alone. Body, prana and mind. Body, prana and mind. These 3. Or prana and mind you can add as a one. Our modern science takes only physical body. It has not discovered prana, nor it has understood what is prana. Our Yoga Shastra talks of prana. Prana level, I tell you, many things happen at the prana level. Prana level, there are many sadhanas, many yogis have practiced, many people live without food for decades together. I myself have met people for decades past, 30 years, by the time when I met that one Mataji, one Yogini Mataji, 30 years she never took food. She always lives openly in front of everybody. Her room is open room. All the time people live with her. So there is nothing secret. She never took food. People have lived with her and say that we never gave her food, she never asked. And she lives openly in front of everybody, nothing secret. So she has some people, servants serving her. Door is open. Anytime people can come, and there is nothing else, no other door, only one. Early morning when she wakes up, everybody is open. In the veranda alone, she sits and talks to people. Decades she lived without eating food. So just one example I gave you, there are many cases. So this science has no explanation for it. What explanation it gives? No, I'm not blaming science. I only say that, see, science is different, and scientists, the so-called believers, the believers of science have become another believers, another dogmatic believers. Another dogma it has become. So the science has done very limited discovery. Still there is a lot. Okay, so yogic power also 2 ways. One is some people come with a birth. Our Yoga Shastra, what do we call our Yoga Shastra, Patanjali's Yoga Shastra says, some people must have done his yoga sadhana in his Purva Janma. So he seemed to have certain powers. Powers means certain unusual life. Compared to a certain unusual life right from birth. Right from birth he has those powers. Some people carry some yogic sadhana from past Janma, and in this Janma take some Diksha, and by shortly they get the power. By within few months alone he will get the power. Some people have to practice for decades and get the power. Okay? So if your past Janma practice is high level, you don't need to practice in this Janma, you get it. I met one person, he would have a Divya Drishti. Divya Drishti means he could read the things. He could read my mind. And he could read who is coming. He would tell who is coming. Tomorrow this person will come to see me. And he will tell his name also. From which place he is coming, which house he is coming, which village he would tell. And future also he would tell certain things. I met him, I spoke to him. He is an illiterate villager, does some agriculture, but he has got power. And I asked him, how did you get it? I say, I don't know, at the age of 5 or 7. At the age of 7, I just said something and something happened, and people were surprised, even I was surprised, and I found that I have this power. That's all. He is an illiterate. He can't read and write, but still he had power. So, his prana, his mind is awakened. His mind and prana. So, all that I want to say from this examples is, human being or even living being, animals and human beings are not body alone. You just see simple, a dog, from the smell it can recognize. See, a person, a thief has committed the theft, carried a thing, 2 days ago, and some people have wandered, still it can recognize. You bring the dog, it can feel the smell. If some 4 or 5 people, if 4 or 5 people have moved around the place, it can, see what they do, they bring the dog. And the thief, it smells the thief. If 4 or 5 people come to that house, it feels the smell of all those 5 people. Then it distinguishes. Leaving these 4 or 5 people, smell of these 5 people, it sets aside. That particular smell, it catches it and traces the smell even after 5 days. Even after 4 or 5 days, the smell remains on the earth. It can recognize. Can you see that? Even animal has got power. Animal has got mystic power, yogic power. Every living being has got, I tell you. But no science talks of it. Does science know how this animal has got certain smelling power? Has science discovered anything, did any research on that? Let the science do that. Of course, there is a parapsychology, they say, but in India, I don't know why we ignore all these things. Because we Hindus become more superstitious, we become blind believers in the science. So science itself becomes another blind belief, another dogma. Any real scientist is a one. He cannot ignore any new phenomena. Any unusual new phenomena, unless he verifies, he can't dismiss it. You can't dismiss anything. Oh, we have to study. All that he can say is we have to study further. We have to study whether it is really there, how it is there, how it works, all that. We have to study more. This is what openness of a real scientist. Some things science knows it is good, but there are many more phenomena which science is yet to discover, yet to understand. A real scientist can never ignore, can never dismiss any, all that is superstition. See how? Based upon that limited science, you dismiss everything. Okay, so there are dog, you discover that. Similarly, every animal is born with certain extraordinary power, which even human beings don't have. Even human beings don't have. One more thing, have you watched, even among the human beings, blind people, born blind people have got high memory power. Hearing, once they hear, sound to sound, they see the difference. From your walking steps, they can see the difference between this person and other person. If a person is walking, from the sound he can recognize he is so and so person. Even the scooter he recognizes. Because scooter to scooter there is a different sound he recognizes. I asked him how, and he says it is different. It is different. Because the sound, one scooter sounds one way, another scooter sounds slightly different. A person is walking, the steps make a sound. He makes the subtle difference. Because since he doesn't have eyes, he has to depend all his life only on his sounds. From the voice also, no two people have the same voice. If he hears one voice, even after a decade, once he hears one sentence, two sentences, even after a decade he comes, oh, so and so person has come, after so long time I am seeing you, I am hearing you, he says. After 10 years, do you remember I met him? He says, oh yes, I remember. I heard you, Swamiji, I heard your voice. He says, I remember your voice. Even I was surprised. After 10 years, he remembers my voice. I spoke to him just one sentence or two sentences. He remembers. I spoke to that blind man. So, this shows, you see, how the human mind has got power. Now, with this thing, how can you say mantra power is nothing? Therefore, our Shastras say, samskara means two things, with mantra and a ritual. Ritual means a certain physical process also. Ritual involves mantra and a physical process, a kriya. Mantra and a kriya. Mantra, kriya. In kriya, a person who does the kriya is also important. Okay? Mantra, a person who does the kriya, and a priest or parents. Parents or priest also play a role in that samskara kriya. The process, the mantra, and the person who is doing. If they also do it in a positive way, in a good way, of course the Shastra says how to invoke that power. With these things, you invoke the power of God and then what you say, place it on that baby. doing the samskaras and jata karma, etc., you do the samskaras and then invoke that energy, and then what you say that, how to say that in English, you place that energy, you send the energy to that baby, you give that energy to that baby, so there is a change in the baby. But again, if you say this samskara karma is done on a baby, all babies don't respond in the same way. All babies don't receive the effect of this ritual samskara in the same degree, because again the jiva comes with a different level of maturity. Some people take this mantra samskara more, some people take less. Some people, but everybody is influenced by that samskara. Every baby is influenced by this ritual samskara. Every baby is influenced depending upon their own receptivity. Their own receptivity varies from baby to baby because he carries from the past samskara. Past karma, past samskara he carries with him. Therefore, some people change with this mantra samskara highly, influenced highly. Some people less, some people too little, but everybody is influenced. So Manu says here, certain impurities in a person's body and mind and past mind will be influenced. So he changes. To certain extent, he undergoes some change. And in the next shloka, 25, this samskara pavanaha, sharira samskara purifies a person's body, mind and prana. Body, prana and mind, okay? Body, prana and mind, these three are influenced by this mantra samskara. I tell you, there was one our guru who would say, he would do some little upasana with Surya and he can go without food for days together. And he says he can live without food. And he has that power. He has that yogic method. I wanted to learn, but he told that I'll not teach in front of everybody. When nobody is there alone, I'll teach you. But all the time people were coming those days when I was there with him in Godivada. People have been continuously coming. We didn't get a time at all. And afterwards, then I had to go away to Hyderabad and went away. By the next time I wanted to come, then he left his body and I couldn't meet him. So there are many things. So in Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, when Rama, Lakshmana were taken by Vishwamitra to his ashrama, in the beginning, first day alone, he gives one mantra, Bala Ati Bala. It is stated in Ramayana, Valmiki. Bala Ati Bala are two powers. He gives the Diksha, and Vishwamitra was so perfect in that mantras that as he gives Diksha, before they practice, instantly the mantra started affecting. Because Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Rama, Lakshmana were also very powerful people, very saintly people. And then Avatara only anyway, they are Avataras. So, and Vishwamitra also very powerful man. As he gave the mantra, they started feeling it. And they say, without eating food, they could live for days together. That appeases their hunger. That means they can live without food. They don't, because they have to walk distances whole day. They walked 40-50 kilometers. Daily 40 to 50 kilometers they had to walk barefooted in such a hard soil. And then they walked whole day. Can you think without food you can walk like that? With food also you can't walk. There is a question of without food. Even with eating 3 times you can't walk 40 to 50 kilometers per day. But they walked. They walked. So that energy it gives them. So all these powers have been there and we see the people and they get it. So he says, Manu, these samskaras affect your body, affect your prana and affect your mind. Because the cosmic samskaras are there, so you are brought into that field of energy, or that field of energies is brought on you, put upon you. It is placed upon you, and then you'll be transformed in it. So in these things, next shloka he says, Swadhyayena vratair homais traividyena yujjaya sutai mahayajnaischa yajnaischa brahmiyang kriyate tanuhu. 28th shloka in the second shloka. Second chapter is very interesting. He says, these samskaras bring about some change in you, some purification in you. Purification of certain past karma, certain present karma, certain bodily impurities, because when you are in a mother's womb, some kind of a dirty things, whatever things, those things influenced you, so that will change. Okay. And after being born also, the swadhyaya, the study of the Veda mantras, continuously you study for days and months and years together, that also bring about a change in you. So Vedic mantras are pronounced with swara in a particular way, particular pattern. You see, sounds produced in a particular pattern has got power. You can see the music. If it is sung in a particular tune, it can bring about change in, it can bring about certain tears in your mind, your mood changes, your body changes. Okay? Sometimes very aggressive sound, very aggressive, jarring sound you listen. After some time you can see the changes, negative changes in your body. So the sound vibrations have got lot of powers. So Veda mantras have got powers. Mantra Shakti also is the same. So Swadhyayena, Vrata, Homa, Vratas you follow, Swadhyaya the Brahmachari, student follows Homa, and Traividyena, Ijjaya, Yajna, Ijjaya Sutayehi, Mahayajna ischa Yajna, and Yajnas, Pancha Mahayajnas. With all these things, a person's body, mind, and prana, all this undergoes change. It gets purified, and Brahmiyam kriyate tanuhu. Your mind and body is purified and prepared for the spiritual awakening, spiritual enlightenment. See, Brahmiyam kriyate tanuhu. Your whole personality is divinized. Brahmi means it becomes Brahmi. Shankaracharya quotes this shloka also. In his Sutra Bhashya, in his other places, he quotes this shloka. How these samskaras purify your personality, change your personality, and make you ready for the spiritual awakening. Of course, it needs certain other sadhanas, yogic sadhanas, meditation, and then understanding, meditation, and all that. For that, this gives the preparation. Okay? So 25 to 28 shlokas, we discussed the importance or influence of samskaras. Okay? This topic is over. Next is 5 samskaras discusses from 29 to 35. We'll discuss in the next class. I am taking a set of shloka, few shlokas together and give them, because each shloka explaining that's already there in the book. So a few shlokas put together and give a certain explanations and understanding. Okay? So 29 to 35, he talks of five samskaras. Those 5 samskaras, in fact, partly I already discussed it today. A little bit of I shall discuss in the next class. Then go to the Upanayana. From 36 to 40, he talks of Upanayana and Brahmacharis, Upanayana samskara, and also Brahmachari's life. In Brahmachari's life, certain behavior, certain things he does, certain ritual, certain activity and service, learning, how various things he is supposed to follow, how it affects him, these things. So the whole second chapter talks of Brahmachari Dharma. Okay? The second chapter. Now the second chapter beginning over now. In the beginning he discussed about what is Dharma, how do you come to know Dharma, the land of holy land for Dharma, and how it influences. Okay? This much we talked. Now hereafter, the remaining second chapter only talks about Brahmachari's Dharma. So I will take few shlokas as a set and discuss them. Okay? So Brahmachari Dharma will discuss in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Jata Karma Joda Karna Pariyanta 5 Samskara Brahmachari Upanayana Ajina Brahmacharya Bhojana. Okay.